All right, we are live. Nobody is watching, but we are live. And as you can tell, Luke and David got a serious makeover because they look a lot better than they did yesterday.
What about you?
Well, I think I look pretty much the same. I just multiplied a more beautiful version of myself. Nobody's watching, so we're going to wait. We're going to let the people build. Oh, we got one person. And for those who might be confused, today is ladies' night. Obviously, due to popular demand, I say we. Somebody has to host this, so I'm here. But I'm going to talk. This will be the most talking I do. I promise. It's ladies' night. These are our wives. You can see from the names down there. Anya has actually been referenced quite a bit on this podcast. So those of you who listen
as
a lot should be familiar.
Person.
Yes, as the person who delivers chicken. So, all right, ladies, are we ready? Are we ready for the intro? Are we ready to do this?
Yeah.
Right about it. How about it, Ton? Are you ready for us? I see that Ton's there.
Of course he is.
Ton.
Hi,
Yeah,
Ton.
yeah. He's watching. He's
love
watching.
you.
Tim's watching. All right, guys. I said guys. Well, guys is generic neutrally. Here we go. You ready? Oh, what is that? Hey, get in here.
To the lockdown live stream.
You know what? It sounds sketchy.
Special edition Provoke&Inspire.
Sorry, guys. 17 people are going, what is happening? It's like it's worked. Wow, that was maybe one of the worst intros ever. All right, Gabe's going to figure that out. We're going to wait for more people to arrive. This is the Provoke&Inspire podcast. This is lockdown live stream number 4. As already mentioned, due to popular demand, the men have been kicked off. We have been replaced, other than me, by our wives. So how about you guys just introduce yourselves? Tell us who you are and why you're here. Starting with you.
My name is Courtney, and I'm Ben's wife, and I was forced to be here today. But the good news is I got a babysitter out of the deal, so I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. You know, in these difficult times, you have to do what you can to ship your kids off from time to time. So I suggested we do a podcast, and now Grandma has the kids, the other grandma.
Yeah.
So here we are doing a podcast. I haven't heard from the other people. Where are you guys, and who are you guys? For those that are watching and or listening right now.
Anya, go. You go first. Hi, I'm Anya. I'm sitting in my loft upstairs in my house, and I am Luke's wife. Yeah, this is me. I am the chicken girl.
Yes, you are the deliverer of chickens. You are the one who affectionately calls Luke.
For David, especially for David.
Yes, right. Especially for David. So and then.
But they're not chickens; they're doves.
Are they?
Yeah, right, Anya.
They're
not
not
chickens. They are
doves now. No.
You would feed Daniel doves when he was a baby.
Really?
All right.
True story.
All right. Now that we've introduced ourselves.
Secret.
No,
Courtney,
Jody.
this is a secret.
Oh, Jody. Sorry, mother. How about you introduce yourself? Here's the problem. I just realized, and this is some serious on-air production. I just realized I didn't hit record. I was so busy and I was so consumed with everything that was going on. Did you fix the intro, Gabe? Is it good? All right, we're going to try the intro again. Thank you for those that are watching. Thank you for bearing with us, but I would argue that you probably don't have a whole lot else going on right now. So I just hit record. We're going to do the intro. We're going to let it breathe a little bit, and then we're going to get the thoughts of the wives of the podcast regulars. Here we go.
You are listening to the Lockdown live stream, a special edition Provoke&Inspire episode.
Welcome to the Provoke&Inspire podcast. My name is Ben, and joining me today are some very special guests. We have Courtney Pierce, my wife. We have Anya Greenwood, Luke's wife, and we have my mother, Jody, aka David's wife. It's the all wives edition. And guys, here's what I want to let you know. We have 37 people watching. That is a lot of people, other than when Brian Head Welsh comes on our podcast. So you guys should feel very special. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, all right. So here's the deal. Gabe's going to turn me down a little bit because I'm hot still. Basically, as we do these lockdown live stream podcasts every single day, we are talking about what everyone's talking about, right? The coronavirus pandemic. Everyone's freaking out. And we're all sort of trying to figure out what to do with life. There isn't a single person, a single situation that has not been really devastated by this. And so what I thought could be really cool is to bring you guys on. We're getting a lot of requests for Jody's random story. So Jody, since 47 people are watching this, we're going to have
David's random story.
Sorry, let me redo that.
Jody's random story.
All right, you're on.
That's just terrible. You gave me no lead up time.
To be fair, you should have been prepared.
Should I have?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
Maybe we need to do this at the end. So
We
I
have
can
52 people watching, so I'm telling you,
Hi,
the
everybody.
pressure is on.
I know. Let me just see. Well, I suppose I could tell you, an embarrassing story about David. That's always easy to do. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, I guess you probably have heard all of his stories, but one story was when we first met. We were.
Ooh.
Yes. It was, my parents. Hi, Mom.
I don't think she's on.
Okay.
You're safe.
Good. That's what I was just thinking.
That'd be weird to have 3 generations on this podcast.
I know.
It's
Sorry,
safe to
Spill
tell
the
the
dirt,
story.
Mom. Spill the dirt.
All
The
right,
world
all right.
is, we're at the end times. We might as well spill the dirt.
Yeah. Well, when I first met David, I of course thought he was amazing, but you know what? My parents did not. And so I thought, because I'm so brilliant, I thought, okay, you know what we can do? I can show them how great of a preacher he is, because he's a good preacher. So I thought, oh yeah. Oh man, it's a good thing you guys do this most of the time. And so I thought, okay, we'll do this thing, with the coffin, that we do in Amsterdam. And like I said, you probably have heard this, but I will just do it my
It's
version.
all right. It's right. This will be the truth for all of those that listen to
it's
this
true.
frequently.
Yeah, and so I thought, okay, we come out in a coffin, and everybody's dressed like they're in. Oh, there went my my
Oh,
whatever.
you don't need 2. That's the
Don't I
thing
need
about
2?
having 2. You have a backup. If one's still in,
Oh, good.
the other one still works.
I got it. Okay, so we took this coffin drama, where everybody would be dressed in black, and it would be like a funeral. We were really mourning, the condition of man, and David would be in this coffin, and we would carry him out to the square, and then he would jump out of the coffin and preach. But so I thought that's so good. I like it. He's such a great guy. So then I thought, okay, let's bring this to Minneapolis and invite my family to this. And unfortunately, that was really a stupid idea. Okay, that was it. Oh
No, you can keep going.
That was it? You got to have a moral to the story.
I know. Wait, you just did this buzz.
Yeah,
so
the
I thought I'm
buzzer meant
done.
your time's
Oh,
up.
no, that wasn't a timer. That was just like,
Bad.
that was a fail,
So basically it was just my brother that was there. And so we did the mourning, because it's a coffin, and David jumps out of the coffin and starts preaching. And of course he always spits. I always say that he always spits when he preaches.
Hey, the best ones out there do.
I know, that's true. And everyone, which was like 4 people, everyone ran away like he was just the weirdest, strangest person on earth.
I don't want to be a missionary, man.
I know. And my brother was going, that's who you're going to marry? And so they still haven't forgiven him, or they still don't, like him all that much. But I love him, and so it's unconditional love. So that is my random story that I didn't even practice.
David's random story.
Wow.
Oh, well, there you have it. There was a
Yes.
touch of sentimentality to that
Yeah.
that brings
Just
us,
a touch.
brings warmth to all of our hearts.
Romantic story.
Yeah. So, all right. One thing I want to know from you, Anya, is how many tiny suits does Luke own? Does he wash them frequently? Does he wash them by himself? Because one time, him and I were in Beirut, Lebanon together, and I was like folding laundry, or maybe I was putting laundry away, and he like laughed at me because
You've
he thought,
never, those are both lies. You've never done either
no,
of
I
those
have.
things.
I have. I did at least in that occasion. And Luke was like, "You
I was
told."
doing your laundry in Lebanon, Ben.
Well, not on this particular trip. This was the when's the last time you read Ephesians chapter whatever trip? That was that trip. But Luke laughed at me. He's like, "You do laundry. I don't do laundry." So the question is, does he own, how many tiny suits does he own? And does he wash them himself? Because after all, it seems like they'd be tiny and therefore a little gross.
He doesn't have any suits. He had to borrow one suit for himself, so he doesn't have a suit.
Okay, all right,
Okay,
fine.
moving on.
Fair enough. We'll move on. My joke obviously didn't work. All right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna pull it together. We're gonna be serious for a minute, because a lot of people are watching and the pressure is on. So, but in all seriousness, this is obviously a super interesting time. I don't know. I was saying this on the podcast yesterday. I kind of go in these weird waves where I'll forget for a second that we're in this like weird global crisis, and then all of a sudden I will remember, and it's this weird mixture of kind of like it's weird and kind of fascinating, but then it's fearful, and then it's anxious, and then you feel like, no, I should do something. It's kind of this weird balance. And so, Anya, maybe to start with you, how has this situation hit you? What have you felt from God during this time? What has your reaction been as the whole world has descended into this chaos?
hmm So I have actually like two different feelings around this whole situation, because my first feelings were like it wasn't still so close to Poland. And I was watching it and I could see how it's developing, and I heard already what's happening in Italy, and I was just like, what's what's going to happen to us? Is it going to spread all over Europe and the world? Is it, I was watching a lot of TV series or some movies about that before, and I was like, this is the time? And I was praying, but at the same time, I really felt like peace about it. I just felt like God just just really brought peace in me. Like I was not afraid of that, even if it will come to Poland. But when it actually reached last week, Poland, and I could see really quick decisions in the government, and they straight away closed the schools. My first reaction was I was a little bit angry. Not angry with the government. I was really actually, I felt like it was really good decision. But we had so many plans. We had so many events. We just started Alpha course, which is a Bible study, and I invited so many crazy, amazing young people. And for the first time, they said they want to come and just get to know us and get to know God more. And they were just doing this first steps. Like even one guy, when he met me for the first time, he was all in black, and I said, oh, you should come to this Alpha course. And he was like, can you not see me? I'm all in black. I'm from the other side of the bad side of the life. And I was like, no, but it will be really cool for you to come. And he decided to come, and then we had to cancel everything.
Yeah.
So I was a little bit angry at the beginning, but then I was just really asking God, what can we do? Like, how can we use this time when we are, locked in the houses, quarantine? Coronavirus is already reached, like, was so close to us, because one team member, he said he thinks he had to go and test for coronavirus. And then I just got an email from the school that there is one lady from the school with coronavirus, and I was like, wow, it's just really so close to us. And I'm with the children in the house. They are very active. Daniel is 10 and Sarah is 4. They have a lot of football, dance classes, everything. So the whole week is always very busy. And suddenly we're just ending up in the house together. And really, I'm so happy that the spring came because it's really nice weather. We can go for walks or to the garden, start to gardening. But the first thing was like, what we are going to do? Like all of, all just Daniel and Sarah was like, so I'm not going to see my friends.
Yeah.
I started to get messages from Daniel's friends like, no, we can't see each other. We can't go on the bicycle. There is no football. And it's just like,
Yeah.
wow. But they took it very, we talked to them, of course. Sarah's reaction was like, I want to play with Marisha. She was really upset that she can't play with her best friend. And but after that, Daniel really took it very seriously. He understood the situation, and I gave him some projects to do in the garden. So he was really, really excited about doing strawberries, or strawberry fields, or raspberries, or black currants. And yeah, we had even barbecue today in our garden. So they are doing good. It's the first week. So I was very, it's really interesting, because I really feel like in one way everybody is terrified. Really, I'm getting so many messages from my friends, and from parents of friends of my children. But I really, I feel like I just want to be for them, and I always say, I will pray for you, don't worry. And I send them verses from the Bible. Don't be afraid, and just if you need anything, I am here for you. And they are really thankful. Like the neighbors, we send them letters, and say like, if you need anything, going even to the shop, or getting you some medication or anything, we're just here for you. And they really, really open. They are very open to hear the gospel
Yeah.
message and talking
Yeah.
to us. So I really think it's something special about this time. I don't know. It's very bad time. I'm not saying this is really, but when you're getting sick and you feel like God probably put you to bed to
To show
maybe
you
understand something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I really think maybe this is the time to really think through our lives, where we
Agree.
are running, what we are doing. Is it really meaningful what we are doing? Maybe we need to stop for a while and see what is really the most meaningful in our lives.
Yeah.
Amen. Totally
Yeah.
agree. Totally agree.
If I can say something, I don't know how you wanted to flow
Just
this.
go. Let's flow on. Hey, by the way, I do want to point out that we never have these good of numbers. So people are watching
They're
and
just
they're
sick of you. That's why.
No, it's great. I think this might be, this might be a lesson for all of us. But anyway, carry on. No,
I don't know what
free flow. No
Go,
rules.
go, Courtney.
Okay, so I don't know what Ben has told people because I don't
Don't worry about
follow. Okay, so I teach group fitness classes at a large gym in America called Lifetime, and it's been a really interesting week because they've closed the gyms, and this has been like crazy, life shattering for people. People messaging me like from my classes. And it's cool. It's a cool like platform for sharing the gospel because people really kind of tell you their hearts, and they feel like they are my friends, and they really truly are, but it's in this weird environment where they kind of open up because you're seeing them every week in a way that you don't typically interact with people. So I have all these messages, and people just kind of stressed out that they can't get their workouts in, and how are they going to manage? And I so agree, Anya, because I feel like when all these people were messaging me, and some of my girlfriends who come to my class, it made me really stop and think like, wow, this is such a time in my life where I'm able to stop and think about like, what are the idols in my life that I have put before God? And for me, I know that exercising and health and fitness stuff has always been something that I have to kind of maintain a healthy like level in my life. Otherwise it can get out of control because I love it so much, but it's an idol in my life because I can 100% put it before time with God. And it's been weird for me because like I stay home with my kids. And so I have a lot of kid time every day. And then these times when I go to the gym for my hour-and-a-half class is like so freeing for me, and just like a time where I can release and feel like I have a purpose. And so when this kind of quarantine happened for us, like really abrupt on Sunday, I just was faced with this thought, like, okay, God, like, what idols do I need to get rid of during this time? And I agree. I feel like it's a time where we can really use it wisely. And it's
Yeah.
okay for me to not work out. And that's obviously not everybody's idol, but for me, that is an idol. Like, it is okay if I don't get in my steps and my rings closed on my watch every day. And maybe I needed to take time to, maybe God really needed to catch my attention in that area. And
Yeah.
I don't want to waste time like this. Like, I don't want to waste moments when I have this really a lot of alone time to think about what God wants to work on in my heart.
Yeah.
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 Perfect. Really, really.
Mm.
I agree, Courtney.
Mm.
Totally. Yeah. Ben, I don't know if you want to.
No, I mean, if
go
you
a
want to
different
react to
direction.
that, or
Yeah.
it's totally up to you. I mean, honestly, I think we're all in this moment together where we're trying to figure out, the phrase that I've heard a lot is the new normal, right?
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
part of what's strange is you will pivot between, for me, I'll pivot between, oh, this won't last, to the opposite extreme of what if this what if this goes on for months? I read something today like this could go on for 18 months. And I'm like, first of all, one thing I want to say is there is so much irresponsibility in the media. Like, there was an article I was reading, I won't even name the place. It's a big news agency, and the whole article was family of 5 dies after eating dinner together. And I'm like, this is just such
Sad.
garbage news. No one needs to, that doesn't help anyone. That is not useful information. It's just clickbait nonsense. And this is from a major news publication. And so something I have not yet done well, but I need to do is we have got to control what we consume at a time like this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, Jody, don't you think that that's a huge part of it? It's weird because we now all of a sudden have all of this time. We almost need to be more on guard. It's like the social media, speaking of idols, the social media idol of our day, boy, it is good for things like this, right? For talking to each other and community and being there with each other. But man, it can be a dangerous tool of fear and panic in the hands of the enemies. What do you have to say about that?
I completely agree, because yesterday I was, it's kind of day by day, and you're just bringing it to the Lord, and how do I react to all this? And I really had a good day, and I was reading, about, it's a good chance, like you girls were saying, it's a good chance to really look at our life and figure out, am I living for the right things, and all kinds of stuff that we can reflect on. But then last night I watched a bunch of news, and it was so awful. I felt so down, and and that's not how I'm going to stay, because I'm different. I have God, but my goodness, I can't imagine if people are just consuming this all the time and just hearing all this garbage. Some of it is important, of course, that we need to know, but some of it is just ridiculous. So I agree with you. We do need to figure this out and ask God, what do we consume? What do we listen to? So, because it can just, I think, we also are human, as Christians, we're human, so we can panic. When we're in Sydney, I think David told that story. When we were in Sydney, my first reaction when we had to get out of there because New Zealand was closing things down was panic. And I thought, wow, weird. That's normal. Okay. I'm sure everybody is doing this, but it's not where I want to stay. I want to go to God and say, okay, I want to experience your supernatural peace and on and on. But back to your point, Ben, absolutely. We have to be careful of what we consume.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, the love just keeps pouring in. Bobby, thank you. We don't get these messages. No one ever says, "Oh, it's so great to hear from the fellas." It's not.
Ben, stop being jealous. Come on, we're
Don
just great.
Sweeney
Come
says it's
on.
amazing to hear and see Jody again. Luke Collis is like, quick, the girls are on. Hey, now it's time to listen. It's just
Something different, Ben. Something
by the
different.
moment I'm just being beaten down. But no, one thing that I think is interesting is I think at a time like this, we've got to be careful to not just replace one idol with another, and it's just because you have this opportunity doesn't mean you'll take advantage of it. So, I mean, talk about that a little bit, guys. Like what have you been feeling like how do you take control of this moment and seize this day and not just be consumed? Because I think unintentionally you're going to be consumed. If you're not intentional about this time, then you will just kind of do what everyone else is doing, and you won't. I don't think you'll have everything that God wants for you in a moment like this. What do you guys think? Yeah, Anya, what do you think?
I don't know. It depends how you start the day. It's really interesting because when I have normal life before coronavirus, it was challenge for me mornings to wake up, get everything ready, and take Daniel to school, Sarah to preschool, and do everything, then work, and then you have to come back, and then you have to pick them up, and then take them to the special activities, and then at the same time everybody's calling, everybody has needs, and I just was really exhausted at the end of the day. And I was just really, it's just really interesting that I was, for the last 2 months, I was thinking how much of me I should give really to my family and to really meaningful things. And how can I set up energy? Because I was really exhausted before with everything. It just like it was just great things. You know, you're serving God, you're doing amazing things. You just like we did an amazing event just at the end of February, and you know just meet all of these people that just they met Jesus, and you're so excited about everything. But at the same time, I just was feeling like my energy was really low. And then now I'm getting up, and I can straight away take my Bible and just read it. And I have, you know, as a Steiger, we have prayer time 24/7. I just set it up for 7 o'clock. I said to my children, from 7 till 8, you are just upstairs, you are playing, and you can
That
come
works with your
on.
kids? That doesn't work with my kids. I told Tava
Sorry,
today,
Ben.
she's 19 months. I said, you
She's
stay
21.
upstairs. And she just was like, up. And then she just ran around in circles. So anyway, that's
But
good
you
for
have
you.
You have to just give them something to do. I just told Sarah today, you have to just clean your room, and after that we can play hide
We
and
must be
seek.
really bad
See, I
parents.
know we're
That's
in-
the moral of this story.
I know we're in
We are
quarantine, but
bad.
can you come over and tell Macklin that? Because Macklin will be like, good idea. Now, actually, Jody has been doing the same thing to David. She's like,
Yes.
okay, today you're
You
going to
stay
clean your
there.
room and stop bugging me. I was actually saying that this has been great because typically Courtney and I practice like 7 feet of social distancing, but it's actually been reduced to 6 feet of social distancing.
That's
So
true.
we've
We've been much closer. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, this is
Yeah, great.
rekindling.
Good for you.
Sparks are flying from 6
Well
feet away.
done.
You know what I'm
It is-
saying?
Oh,
It
What-
is true. I
Yeah.
do tell David to go upstairs and just don't do anything. Just don't get in trouble. I'm going to be busy for a little bit, you know. So yeah, so it does work with David as well.
Yeah. So what? I
Yeah.
mean, Courtney,
You
Jody,
just
what?
have to train them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, you know, simple goals. Train David, and we'll move on from there. But
Yeah,
what,
go,
what do we
Ben.
do? What do we do to claim this time? How do we
Mm-mm.
not become overwhelmed and inundated with the fear of our times?
I feel like I'm in such a strange spot in life right now, and I have been for like the last 12 weeks. So I have really, I don't know, I think Ben announced on the podcast the other day that I'm pregnant, but I get really bad morning sickness. So for the last,
Congratulations.
thanks.
Hold on.
This is a serious topic, and he's ruining it with, this is the story of our life.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Oh,
Oh, I didn't realize that was negative news. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. Carry
Anyways,
on.
so I have really bad sickness. So I throw up. Life is great. It's really hard to wake up in the morning, and I'm a morning person. So that's not like it. I love to wake up at 6 a.m. And since I hit 6 weeks, I haven't been able to wake up. And then this week I have this amazing group of girlfriends, and we kind of have this chain of text going, and every morning they send over verses that have really touched their heart. And this morning I was just kind of thinking, like, even though it's physically, it's because I actually have something wrong with me, not just I'm tired or I didn't go to bed on time. Like I physically have an illness or something wrong with me. How to get through this. So I kind of feel like the coronavirus hasn't quite hit me because I've had this weird world of living in like this state of I don't feel well. I'm kind of just in survival mode. And then the coronavirus hit and I'm still feeling that way. But my friends have kind of been encouraging me this week, like I need to make the most of this time. And that even if I feel sick, like I need to be, I don't know. I don't know if I can wake up early because I physically can't get out of bed. But I know that I'm going to miss out on what God has for me. And also just my friends have been really encouraging me, like how much their hearts have been changed just in this week of spending time with Jesus. And I know like it really does make a difference. Like it's not just something cute to say, like really committing that time to reading the word every morning is going to change your outlook and protect you from anxiety and fear and just not, I mean, I think that's obviously we want to use our time well, but also we don't want to live in fear and we don't want to give the enemy a stronghold in our life that can start to take root. And then when this thing is over, because it will come to pass, then we find ourselves 10 steps back because we have gotten ourselves into a jam of being in a state of anxiety.
Yeah. Jody, what do you hope at the end of this? And who knows, none of us can control, but what would you hope God would do in you, in us, the Big C Church, but in your own life through this? What do you think God, forecast for us, what God might want to do in us? And what is your hope? What have been your prayers in a time like this?
Yeah. I think, like what Courtney was saying, to really be able to, during this time, reflect on how we've been living, because it's a time to breathe. Just take a breath, because so most of us are so busy, and to just actually breathe and go, okay, am I living according to the way I'm supposed to live, according to the way God wants me to live, and to have this time to take advantage of it, to serve. I so want to serve the people around me because I've got time when I'm not isolated, but it's which we are for a little bit, about a week more, but I do want to serve people and show that somebody that follows God is different, because we feel the panic, but then we can turn to God and offer something different, and that's awesome. But I also feel like we need to, as just individuals, just reflect, breathe, reflect, and go, okay, I have to get rid of this. I get it now. I have time to, and even things like I have time to talk to that person and forgive them, or have a reconciliation, because we actually have time. So what I would, to answer your question, is I would say that we would be people that are living more just exactly how God wants us to live, rather than following our culture, because we do follow our culture a lot, and we get into the busyness, we don't think, we don't breathe, we don't reflect on what is God saying to us this moment, because we're not quiet enough to actually even hear it.
Yeah. I think that was an interesting thought from Brian had yesterday, was that there was sort of an attitude of rest in this, which is weird. And I don't want to be cavalier. There are people who are really suffering, and, this is a personal rant of mine. I'm just going to personally rant for a minute. So, and again, this is all relative, but I find it really funny when these like really rich celebrities are like, just stay inside, like protect everyone and stay inside. And they're living in their 6,000 square foot houses on the beach with the indoor pool and the workout facility and theater. I'm like, yeah, you just stay inside, you goon. But anyway, it's true. I get that there is a degree where we're all forced as a society to stop, right? And there is an element of rest, and it's even the very concept of sleep. I often think about it in the same light. David and I will talk about this, how it's funny that God built into us the need to sleep, right? It's almost like for 7 or 8 hours a day, you're just going to be quiet and lay down and just stop running around. You're just gonna, it's like the whole world has to just, it doesn't matter if you're the president or you're it doesn't matter who you are. You have to just stop and be quiet and lay there. And it almost feels like there's a degree of this where even the division of labor, I mean, I don't know if you could comment on that, but it's like, it feels like in some ways even roles have been reduced, right? Now everyone's just kind of at home, and there's something good even to that, right? That there's a humility in saying, I'm not X. We're all now sort of in this together in a very simple, beautiful way, and we just have to make it work. I can't just say I leave the house and I do this. Not, we're all kind of in this together, and there is a good humility, isn't there, Anya? That I'm ultimately just a simple follower of Jesus, and all of these other things can be taken away from me in an instant. Isn't that part of what God might be wanting to teach us through this?
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. I just feel like I feel like somebody just pressed the button. Somebody. I believe that God just wants to press the button of reset, and and just start from the beginning. Just really, that's what I was saying. Just this times in the morning. For me, it's very important to spend my time in the morning with God, because He really gives me different perspective. I just felt like, and I spent hundreds of hours preparing different events, preparing different things, meeting with people, everything, meeting with people from government to set up some events that we are supposed to start now in April and in May. And I feel like, and what just God can say, just like, it's not going to happen. This is not the time. You need to really stop and think, what is the most important, like who you are without me. Just like, there is one verse that I really like, and it really just told me so much about God. He said, you can have so many thoughts in your heart, so many plans in your hearts, but the most important is the will of God, what He wants to do. And that's why it gave me peace. I said, like, God, really, I want to do what's your will, not what's the best plans, what's the best thoughts and ideas that I have in my head. It's just because it sounds so great, and it sounds like it's the best idea ever, the most creative one. And I just feel like God say, like, now just wait, I will do. And I really believe He's preparing us. I know it's very difficult time for people. I'm saying this from different perspective, because nothing happened to me, and I'm not sick, and the closest ones are not sick, and I know, and I have a house, so this is also like something, like, I can go and I have just garden next to me, and I know that people are just in the apartments, and I just like, one friend just called me and she said, the director said we shouldn't leave because this lady was sick, so I can't even go for a walk. And I said, no, you can go for a walk, just don't be too close to people. But they really are terrified, they are really afraid of this. So that's why, answering to your question, I just really feel like God really is teaching us a lot, not only us, but people around us. They really, that's why I'm not afraid of telling them the truth. That's why I'm not afraid of telling them, Jesus loves you. That's why, just God sent his son to die for us on the cross, and He gave us eternal life because of His sacrifice. He just loves us so much, and He wants to give you the best things because He created you. And people are listening. Like, I didn't meet anyone during this time that they were just like, no, it's not for me. They really listen because they want hope, and that's amazing thing.
So by the way, for those of you who are watching, and there's a lot of you, because as I've repeatedly emphasized, the girls are obviously cooler than us. They would probably have 73 viewers if it wasn't for me. So I'm sorry about that. Ask questions, any questions, serious questions.
Well, Anya, what's this?
Questions about the husbands. If you want the truth on
No, we don't
anyone,
wanna talk about
especially
you.
Luke and or David, now's your time to ask. But here's a good question by this strange guy. His name is Luke Greenwood. And he asks, what do we need to tell our kids about the pandemic? I think this is a valid question. And interestingly enough, we have all the phases, right? So, Jody, I mean, you could directly just tell me what you think I need to know. But, Anya, Daniel's obviously in a very different stage, especially Daniel, than our kids. And he can definitely understand a lot more. So maybe, Courtney, starting with you, because I've struggled with this, because part of me wants to shelter Macklin from this. But starting with you, Anya, or Courtney, what do you think we should be, what advice could you give about this? And obviously we don't have all the answers, but what do you think?
he's not wrong, because I was trying to tell Mackie the other day that we couldn't go to our mom's group because there's a sickness going around, and Ben was like, "Don't tell him that." I'm kind of a realist, so I don't tell him. For me, I don't put fear in his, because he's 4, and Tava doesn't get any information because all she cares about is
Applesauce.
But I told him that there was sickness going around, and so we need to be careful and we need to make wise choices, but God will protect us. And like, we've just chosen that our kids don't get to go anywhere, except for, Ben's also probably said this, but we don't have a kitchen right now. So we're currently having to eat at my parents' house. So he's allowed to go to my parents' house, but they haven't left other than our house or that, just to keep them safe. So for us, I feel like we didn't give too many details, but it's okay. I think sheltering them doesn't give them an accurate perception of what actually is going on in the world. So you can say, like, sickness happens and we have to make wise choices to protect our bodies. And we ask God for help, for wisdom, for direction, and he will give it to our family if we ask him for how we should be behaving and spending our time.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you, Anya? What have you felt? I mean, you were explaining that a little bit, but how much do you feel like Daniel's ready and able to absorb, being a 10-year-old? What do you think he should and is able to handle at this stage of his life? Because he obviously knows, unlike my son, he knows something's happening. So you can't hide it from him.
Yeah, with Daniel, it was just actually a little bit complicated at the beginning because coronavirus topic was very strong in the schools already when it started in China. So they were talking about that, and they had really bad comments. And I had to actually talk to him very strongly about that, because like they were just saying, like, this is a China thing, this is in China, and just
It's their fault.
and it was just really like not nice. And I just had to talk to him and his friends in the school that they really need to think about that because it can actually spread, and it happened, unfortunately. So when it arrived to Europe, I could see in him fear. He had a lot of questions. He said, like, is it going to come to Poland? Are we safe? Is grandma and granddad safe? And just like he had fear, I could see. And every day, just like, he can hear what we are talking through the phone with people, what we are doing, like. And like I said, in Poland, the government straight away is like arrived and closed schools, closed everything. And now when we find out that this lady was with coronavirus, of course the informations went also to other people, but and it arrived to Daniel. So i think I think they need to know the truth. I really like what the prime minister of Norway, I think I'm not wrong, but I think prime minister from Norway, she explained. She had actually a special conference for children, and
Cool.
they could ask her questions, uh, and just she was just telling them things, why they are not at school, why they are doing this, and they could ask any questions to her. So I think it's just really, we need to tell them. We can't. Yes, no way. Luke said, thank you, Luke. So yeah, so I remembered.
He's so
Right.
nice.
So yeah, he's a good husband. Yes, yes. um so anyway, I just really think, like, we can't just ignore them. This is our problem and stuff. I know that they don't get sick or anything, but they really have a lot of feelings. Like, for them, it affects them whole life, basically. Just like, it depends on us how we react. But I can imagine it's a lot of stress. We need to do homeschooling, and I am not the best teacher. My mom is amazing. She's patient, and but I have to stay at home and just homeschooling
You're
him
good at, like,
every day,
providing
saying, like,
chickens and stuff. That's
you
what
can do like
food is
natural
okay.
homeschooling, like the great
Yes, I
outdoors.
do farming is
Yeah.
right. Yes. But maths, and I love maths, and he's very good with maths, but in different way. So anyway, I'm just thinking, like, he really affects him. Like, he's asking, when can I meet with friends? When can we go and go on the bicycle together? We won't be too close. He just you know, it's the whole world for them. So we need to
Okay.
explain. We need to
Yeah.
tell them the truth. It's
Yeah.
yeah,
I
I
know-
think so.
One thing I was thinking that was unusual is like, I was literally, as I was leaving the house today, I was thinking, Luke has this to say. Oh man, Luke, she's gonna move the
It's for
social
yourself.
distancing. The social distancing is gonna go back to 24 feet. So good luck with that one.
But-
Yeah, anyway, hence the tiny suit, but that's nor here nor there. As I was leaving the house, I
I'm
was
a teacher
thinking,
from communist times, you see.
yeah. Oh, Luke. It looks, like, oh, yes, okay, whatever you say. Oh, okay, yes. Sure thing,
That's
Anya.
true.
Yes, whatever you want, like.
What's happening right now?
Yeah, welcome to my world. Anyway, I was leaving the house and I was thinking how weird it is that, this will be kind of like a, maybe kids that were 5, 6, 7, 8 during 9/11 for Americans, they won't really remember it. That'll be that thing that happened when they were kids. And, part of it also is I don't want him to not, or both of my kids for that matter, to miss out on the reality of this, that this is gonna, first of all, I think this is gonna change the world in the way that, in a smaller way, I think 9/11 changed the world, or other major world events. This will change the world. I think there's gonna be a pre and post coronavirus world. I really do. But I also want, I want him to learn, and my daughter to learn what they can learn as well from this, how this can maybe bring them into a more keen understanding of how grateful we should be, how fragile life is in the right sense of the word. I don't want them to be afraid, but I think there's something very valuable about them having more courage, about having more gratitude, more of a sense of life is short and what happened before could happen again. I want to use my life for what matters. If my kids grow up in a world that is less materialistic, less individualistic, less focused on themselves, that's a good thing. And so my prayer is that this changes the world in the right way, that this changes me, because I'm not immune to this. Like you were saying, Anya, I have this plan and that plan. And I was telling the guys yesterday, I plan the tours that I'm involved in, like for sure they will happen. I never even thought that this is something that couldn't happen, and so the idea that, like it says in James, I can plan, but it's only God that knows. And if my kids can grow up in a world where they're more aware of that fact of a sovereign God, and that really they should live for what matters, that's a good thing. As Kate says, though, and this is a valid point, if you're afraid, your kids will pick that up. And so I do think we need to set the tone of faith. And this is all the more reason that as parents, we need to be guarding our minds, because we have to sort of lead. Courtney can probably attest to this, and this is an on-air apology, but the tension of all this was making me less patient. I was just kind of finding myself not as patient with my kids and more easily frustrated. And I really felt this conviction, like I've got to lead here. Like this is where all of those prayer times at 5:30 in the morning have to mean something, that I can go, okay, God, I'm going to dig deep into my faith, and this is the time where I need you to come out in me, where I need less of me and more of you to rise up in a hard time like this. Anyway, so the kid thing is a bigger part of this than I thought. Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Jody.
No, it's good. I just that is something that we did when you guys were growing up. No matter what it was in Amsterdam, whatever we experienced, there was a point where I said, Lord, do I share this stuff with the kids? And I felt like, yes, walk it through with them so they can learn the lessons quicker than you did, and so that they,
exactly.
you kids size it, what they can handle, but they then can learn those lessons soon. And go much further than we are, so that's definitely something I want. And it's part of just being open and wise, but really seeing, okay, this is what we're praying, for, pray with us. Let's see what God does. What's God's approach to this?
Sorry, Dirk. I promise I can't help it. I talk for a living. All right, Dirk, get off my back, man. These are tough times. I verbally process everything. Ask my wife. I'm just a nonstop chatterbox over here. I'm freaking out.
He's been that way. He's been that way since he was little. So it's nothing new.
I'm just gonna do a little bit of. Sorry, I'm gonna again contradict myself. I want to promote something that's important. We are launching something in Steiger called Hope Beyond Fear, and I do think this really matters for a couple of reasons. One, I think we all feel anxious and we want to do something. We want to be part of something, and we want to be able to put our energy into something productive. So of course, pray for practical ways that God can use you. Pray like crazy. Be a good leader and husband and wife or whatever you are in your home. Be that to the best of your ability. But one small way that you can join with us is through this hashtag that we've created, Hope Beyond Fear. And so what we've done in our mission is we've created signs with a positive message like Jesus is my only hope, and whatever, something that will encourage someone, and then use the hashtag Hope Beyond Fear. We really want to create this solidarity that yes, things are hard, but we're in this together, and that God ultimately is in control. So you can make your sign. This isn't limited to Steiger. We want this to be beyond our world. Beyond that, we just released a video today that we will be slowly rolling out in all the different languages that are in our world. But share that with the hashtag Hope Beyond Fear. Let's see how in a small way God might use us to point people to Jesus at a time like this, because I think that's ultimately it's what people need more than anything. So maybe just kind of ending with here, and you guys can just jump in anywhere. Angel asks, in this time where we have so many people struggling with vulnerability, it's easy to get emotional. How can we be helpful for them? So Courtney, maybe starting with you, what if someone's coming to you and they're obviously freaking out? I would say also people whose faith is sometimes maybe being really tested by this. They really didn't realize how thin and shallow their faith was, and that's being revealed more and more in a time like this. What would you say to them?
I mean, church answer, but it's important that we are submitting these fears and anxiety and stressors to God, because I know that He will show up, and that's the privilege this is something I say a lot, but the privilege of following God your whole life is you get to see the track record of Him being faithful. I can say He's faithful, but if you don't have any personal experience, that's not going to mean anything to you. And this is one of those times when you can put it to the test. Like, God, I need you to show up, and I need you to show me how you are going to see me through and bring the bright lights in my day and give me the little joyful moments that I need, and give and provide for all that you need in this time.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
Anya,
Jody?
you want to say something? I have something, but I
Go ahead, Jody.
Yeah, Anya. Okay. It's a good question, Angel. I have really felt one thing that's important to me and important to be is sympathetic, because I understand that it's a weird situation out there, and we none of us know humanly what to do, and it's you watch the news like I said earlier, and it's just like, whoa, my goodness, I don't know how to process this. So I think we need to be very sympathetic to people, because it's it's to listen and to say, yeah, I get it, and then of course we need to go from there as people that follow Jesus, and get His help in it, because He does want to give us peace and a confidence and everything that we need to go through this. But it is crazy. We need to sympathize and really ask God to help us love them. Even it's funny, just a small little thing. I usually try to smile at people that I pass, on the street or whatever, and I pretty much 100% of the time I will get a smile back. But just in this last time, it's been like, I thought, whoa, what's going on? But it's just the nervousness, that they're scared, and so we need to really be Jesus to them and love them to Him, and that there is help.
Yeah.
Any parting final words for us, Anya? Give us some of that good time Polish wisdom.
Yeah. I just would like to tell you something that my dad told me a few years ago. He had an accident and he almost died, and I was really scared. It was just really like that, you could die. And he said to me, Anya, only God knows when I'm going to die, and only He knows how I'm going to die. And a lot of people, what they are the most afraid is not to get sick, because we are getting sick all the time. We just have flus and different things. But the most, I think, fear they have, that it's I can die, or my close people, close family and people, everyone can just die. And it's like from one day to another, especially if somebody has a really low immune system. And And there was my friend that she came to visit me today, and we just spoke through the gate. She just came to give me back a book or something. But because she has really bad immune system, and I just don't want to, like I
Yeah.
told you, one of our team member is, like just basically I don't want to risk for her because it's really and life or death. And she said, Anya, I just know if I will get it, probably I will be just dead. My immune system won't take it. And I just told her what my dad told me. I said, listen, I really believe that God knows when and how you're going to die. And you shouldn't be afraid some coronavirus because he knows exactly which day. And if you are going, coronavirus can be gone and one day you can have accident on the bicycle or something. It's just like you don't know. So I just felt like I know maybe it's just in the situation that she just really looked at me and she said, you're right. I can just
Yeah.
it just doesn't depend. Of course we can protect ourselves and everything, but we don't know who and when and what is going to happen. So I really want you to, especially for Christians, because there are different theologies about that nothing will get to us, we won't get
Yeah.
sick or other extreme things. But I
Yeah.
really believe that we just need to follow God. We need to follow what Jesus has for us and just believe in him, that he has the best plan for us and he knows how and when we are going to die. And we have hope, of course. Other
Yeah.
people, they don't. So let's go and tell them, like, hope beyond fear. I think we need to be creative and just do it and just go and speak the truth, speak the gospel to all nations.
Amen.
You see that? I had that ready. Yep, that was some serious Polish wisdom. Fire.
Oh, Veronica, thank you.
Yeah, but
Hello, my Russian sister.
this is also coming from the same group of people that think you can get sick from having your car window down. So, before we get too triumphant, let's not get carried away. Luke, this girl from Poland, Luke Greenwood, asks about tell us about the garlic and onion medicine that cures all. Actually, no, that let's not talk about that, because one of the things that's been bugging me is all these. If you just would gargle salt and vinegar, then you'll never get nothing, and that's that kind of misinformation that's going to send us all, to an early dirt nap.
Husband, just chill out there.
What was that? Hey, I'm the one who makes fun
always make fun of me because of this medication. It's just commonest things. We didn't have even antibiotics.
Look, we all know what true Polish medicine is. It's the old, Oh, anyway,
Well, chicken. I know.
Good thing that was visual and not audio. I don't even know what Mike Ritter means by this. But not even a job. Did I reference a job? I don't know. But Mike, whoever you are, I hope, you sound like a nice young lady, and I hope you're doing well out there. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, consistently the numbers have just been ridiculous. So clearly you guys need to do this more often. So if you'll be back, first of all, I need at least 5 comments saying, yes, have them back.
Let me check my schedule. It's a little full.
Yeah, seriously, right? Let me see. What am I doing tomorrow? Nothing. The next day, nothing. I think I'll be doing nothing the next day and nothing after that. It's great. Come on, let's get some comments going. Let's get some. I want them back. Let's have some. The dudes are terrible. David's annoying. Come on, let's get a few of those comments going. Join our Provoke and Inspire podcast community page on Facebook. Type it, join it. Leave us a review. Let us bury Bruce and his negativity deep in the pits of the netherworlds. Come on, banter.
He's all I've been hearing about for the last week.
Gary.
Bruce.
Who the heck is Greg? I don't know. And why is Santa Claus with that woman in Hawaii? That's what I want to know. Oh man.
Greg.
Anyway, the comments are flooding in. Ladies, I love you. Well, I love this. Well, I love my mother. Anya, I love you. It's not, now this is getting awkward. I love all of you.
Wait a minute. What, don't you love your mother?
He said that.
Yeah.
Oh, did he? Oh, okay.
My mother.
Love you guys.
Erica, she said we're better looking.
Well, yeah, I can't even, there's been so many comments. I can't even get rid of Greg's because I can't find where it was from. Anyway, oh, there's just so many comments. No, I got yes. I got Erica. I got do it. Yes, the ladies rock. Anyway, all right. Well, we love you. Remember, hashtag, come on, ladies, do it with me. Do it with me. Hashtag hope beyond fear. Hope beyond
Love
fear.
you guys.
Hope beyond fear.
Leave us a review. We're going to talk to you tomorrow. We're going to bring on some of our guests from different parts of the world. Uh-oh, I'm glitching. We'll talk to you next time. Peace.
You can't see me.